Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It's Monday night, which means we're running Vaesen, Mythic Britain and Ireland. We're having a lovely time doing it. Links below the stream to our social media, our Discord, which you should come and join and chat to us, and other people who watch the stream. They're all lovely. And also to our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, and our Patreon if you want to support the channel. All those links are below the stream. Other things that we do on the channel, we do Simba Room on a Wednesday, although I believe that's not on this week. And we do a one shot on a weekend day every month. We've just done October's on Saturday. It was Cyborg, the Morkborg cyberpunk kind of spin-off standalone game, which Matt ran and I played in, and it was very fun. So I think the first half of that is up on YouTube now. If you wanted to go catch that, it was very enjoyable. Not sure exactly what day or system this November's is going to be. I don't think we've got that confirmed yet, but follow us on social media or join us on our Discord if you want to find out about those. Cool. So recaps. Let's bring on Sam, who plays Magnus Huxley, or Hux for short. Hi, Sam.
Hello. I never get put on first on these. It feels weird to be on first. Sorry.
It's okay. Your first morning waking up in Radcliffe. Tell us.
Yeah. So we'd all had a peaceful night. We came down for breakfast that morning, and aware that we were due to meet the Inspector Bonts, I think his name was, the kind of local chief of police, I suppose, effectively, as far as we're aware. We were told to meet him by the folks back in London who originally kind of set us on this task, and he was going to kind of introduce us to what was going on. So a couple of us went on a walk, but it was otherwise uneventful. And then upon arriving back not long later, Inspector Bonts, showed up and had a seat and basically told us what had happened. In total, 4 people had gone missing at the tower here in Radcliffe. So first of all, they were kind of there wasn't really anything else reported other than 2 of the workers going missing. It's not like anything led up to that as far as the inspector knew of. And they've kind of been presumed dead because there was blood found at the scene. I think the inspector described it as not well cleaned up blood, as if someone had, tried to clean up a crime scene, but it's difficult to obviously remove signs of something like that. They obviously went to check it out. The inspector didn't find anything, but he left 2 other policemen there overnight to kind of check the place out. And then those 2 policemen both also went missing, presumed dead, in a similar fashion, with blood left on the floor, hastily cleaned. I think that was about all really he could tell us. There wasn't much more useful information other than obviously the current. We kind of knew a little bit about the current owner from the previous night, how he wanted to do something to the place. Basically, it seemed like he wanted to knock down the tower, or at least seriously alter it in some way. I think it sounded like certainly the Wiltons had butted heads a bit with the village as well, although we'd had some conversations previous night to that remark as well. And then he just recommended, we were kind of going to head to the tower, but we asked if we could perhaps go and see some of the workmen in town as well. On to the next bit.
So he gave you a few names, but initially you went to chat with Henry Edwards, who was one of the builders that was both from the town and had survived whatever has been going on. He didn't give you much information that you didn't know, but did point you towards a Ruth Jones. So let's bring on Steve, who plays Henry Bonneville. Hi, Steve.
Hi there.
Tell us about your visit to Ruth Jones.
Sure. I'm just going to switch the camera view because that one freaks me out.
Who was the wife of one of the builders who had was missing.
So the second victim was Sam Jones, and his wife was Ruth, and we obviously, somewhat of an awkward situation, but we introduced ourselves. She was able to find the diary, and various members of the party had a look through it. So basically, to cut a long story short, there were a couple of odd occurrences where initially, like, tools were misplaced or things went missing, and then on like 3 days into this period in the diary, a small fire started in the tower. I think it was the end of the tower that was nearest to the house. So there was just sort of this idea that there was sort of tomfoolery going on, either disruption or practical jokes, that sort of thing. And then a few days after that, this Sam got the feeling that someone was there, watching them, kind of a malevolent feeling, I guess. And then there was one more diary entry where Sam was feeling somewhat like he should quit the job and not go back, and then that was the last one. After that, he disappeared.
Yeah. So let's bring on. I've lost my sheet. Justin, please. So, who plays Gale, Mosling Force Mark. So, following this, you all decided to head up to Radcliffe Manor / Tower, and you arrived and were greeted with some disdain by the owner initially.
The owner who basically lived up to all of our suspicions, James Walton, was not very happy to see us. Not very sure why we were here. Not very sure why we were turning up and bothering the workers, who were busy getting on with moving around animal refuse and hay and such like that. And really just wasn't who really wasn't sure what these riffraff over here was up to. And luckily Mosling stepped in and saved the day, calmed nerves, and reminded him that we do have a genteel touch to the group, and Hux. And together we have all the bases covered. He invited Mosling round for a party when Mosling brought up that this party that there had been some festivities happening in the house, and cards were exchanged, pleasantries, etc. And he let us get on with the job.
And so you did. So let's bring on John, who plays B.
Hello.
Hey, John. Yeah, tell us about your investigation in the tower.
So the tower itself was basically the ground floor and part of the remaining first floor of an old square tower that was now overgrown and been converted for animal use. The animals had been removed, presumably because of the building work. We found definite signs of blood, as well as drops of blood in the upstairs section, which was strange. Pointy footprints and circular depressions like a stick or a cane had been used. And also Hux spoke to... Yeah, there we go. Hux spoke to one of the farmhands who were still walking the animals around, and one of them mentioned something about a witch in town who seemed to be some sort of healer, like when the locals can't get to the doctor or the doctor can't do anything. Yeah, that's more or less it.
Yeah, so the last thing that happened was Gale spotting the footprints with a sort of circular imprint next to them as well, as we said, like some kind of staff or handle. And it was probably pretty simultaneous, actually, that Hux found the blood marks upstairs. That's where you are.
I
guess, could I ask more about these blood spots then, if we're leading off? Like, is it just a few individual drops of blood upstairs? Is there anywhere they lead? Are they like close to anything, like someone went in or around something, or any evidence of other disturbance, like what's going on around these, I suppose?
They are kind of they do make sort of a line as if they've come up the stairs.
Okay.
So, and then like along in a line, but
Mhm.
then they just disappear. They just
Okay.
stop.
And where they disappear, there's nothing obvious, like no hole in the roof, no like
don't-
Middle of the room, just on the floor.
Okay.
It's worth pointing out that Hux is the only person who knows about this so far.
Yeah.
So not in character. I was really hoping they kind of lead under one of the haystacks up there.
Well, it's okay. I will invite you up to come and find that they don't lead under one of the haystacks momentarily.
There's no point now.
I suppose after I've had a quick look and ascertain that myself, Hux will probably just kind of say, "Oi, blood up here." Not much, but summit.
I'll scurry over with my camera.
Having presumably noticed that they kind of go back towards the stairs, I'll kind of point that direction when presumably Gale is coming up and go, "Watch out there," pointing at kind of where you're coming up.
It's literally sort of a trail of drops. Like they're small. It's not like a pool like downstairs.
Sorry, let me try that again then.
Bonneville, what do you make of this? They just seem to end.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me. You can't taking a body away. Like it's not that easy.
Well,
I mean, perhaps I don't know if they drag them onto a sheet or something.
Maybe there was a fight and one of them was injured. Could have been come up here and wrap a wound or something.
Possibly, I guess.
Just a guess.
I will go and sort of investigate the haystacks just to see whether there's anything, like poke around in them a bit, see whether there's anything hidden.
I'm not going to make you roll. There is not. And yeah, it's literally, it just stops this sort of trail,
and
as it were.
There's no roof here, is there? Or above the blood spots where they end, is the roof there gone?
So this first section that you're in is basically complete because this is where they're keeping the hay. So this is relatively dry space. And then as you go onwards, it becomes sort of less and less complete as you move along the sections.
And there's no signs around here of cleaning up or anything like that. It's just a trail of blood spots that just then stop.
Yeah.
And is it a sudden stop? Is it like, are they petering out, or is it just?
No, they're pretty consistent, and
then they just
gone. Yeah.
Has Bonce come up?
If everyone else came upstairs, he'll have come up as well.
Did you spot this before? To Bonce?
Got to be honest, we didn't actually. It was dark up here, and well, the trail doesn't seem to come the whole way from downstairs, so we had.
It's all right. I'm
not
blaming you. I'm wondering if it was before or after you came.
Yeah, I suppose it could be either.
Can I, having heard that, can I go back to see whether the trail starts?
Yeah. It's about halfway up the stone steps.
This makes no sense.
Well, I don't think we're going to get anything else from up here. I already wandered that way. Watch it on the edge. Gets a bit worrisome over there, pointing towards the bit of the roof that is a bit less. And then I'll probably just go back down the stairs.
Is the trail all on the floor, or is any of it on the walls?
It is all on the floor. It is almost like you would imagine sort of the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb trail, but blood drops.
That's a very specific description, Johnny.
Even grimmer than.
Is it heading
Brother's Grimm.
towards anything, like a window or an opening or a hole in the ceiling? Or you really can't tell?
It is, I mean, if you were to look at the route, it is going towards the door into the next section of the roof.
Cool.
In the same way as it has come from downstairs, but whether or not that is the direction of whatever has left this for definite, you couldn't say. But yeah, it kind of comes up the stairs, turns at the top, and is going in a straight line, essentially, towards that door into the next section.
And is that next section where the floor starts to disappear?
So the next section, the floor is pretty much complete, but the ceiling is kind of in tatters. And then the next section along again is basically non-existent. So the door frame is there, and there are sort of a few floorboards into the next room, little bits of timber, beam in the ceiling, but it's essentially non-existent now, that final third section.
Have we checked all of the upstairs sections, or just the first one?
I think Hooks checked all of upstairs.
Yeah. There was nothing in the other two, was there, at all, basically?
Curious. Didn't we see some footprints downstairs as well last session?
Yes, it was you that saw those. It was Gail that spotted those. Nobody else is aware of them yet.
I thought it was Constance, but never mind.
No, it was you. I think.
In which case, I will bring everyone's attention to them. These are odd. They're not like any footprints I have recognised.
Are they about the right size to be a human, or are they a funky size? Now we're looking at them.
Give me a... sorry, 1 second. An investigation roll.
Nope.
Is that for anybody or just?
Yeah, anybody who's looking. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. This will take a while whilst I collect all my dice.
2 successes.
Okay.
Also 2 successes.
Okay. You would say that they're... Okay, you roll quite well. They're firstly maybe a little smaller than you would expect. But also, based on their size, you would say that the depth of the imprint is deeper than you would expect, potentially. Like if you were thinking of the size of somebody that had that size shoe, you wouldn't necessarily think that the imprint would be as deep as it is.
So a really heavy child.
I was going to say
stomping
Small, but
around.
very heavy.
A murderous, dense child.
You're not allowed to use words like that for children.
Let's have a lot of mass. Wait, no, this isn't getting better.
I'm curious to know whether I think Mosley might take the air a little bit out of this stuffy, murdery, blood-ridden tower. Well, what's the environs around the tower like? Paint me a picture of the rural scene. Is it just a kind of countryside? Maybe any in particular?
Yeah.
Things of note.
So fields around, some pleasant sort of apple trees and stuff in the area around the building. There is the sort of driveway path that you have come up from the town. It's a relatively flat area that you're in. As much as I know you kind of expected this to be a kind of hilltop thing, but this is not a classically defensible location. You're kind of in a plain. Yeah, so no massive sort of woodlands or anything like that. If that was what you were wondering, it's basically fields around you, sort of divided by. There are little thickets and things like that, but nothing extensive in terms of woodland.
And these footprints that were found inside were found because there was a broken bit of floor where it was muddy.
Correct.
I think I'd probably want to go to the entrance that the footprints were kind of... I'm presuming they were headed in a direction... Essentially, I'll look around the tower.
Sort of the way that they're pointing,
yeah,
almost.
Yeah. If there's an exit there, then yeah, I'll sort of head in that direction and try and look around outside just to see whether I can see any more sign of them.
What you would note on passing is that one of the blood pools is essentially in that direction.
Okay.
But yes, if you go outside, there is nothing really to see. So you can spend a few minutes sort of looking around, as I imagine you would do, but there's nothing to find that you deem relevant.
While folks are looking around the footprints and stuff, presumably Hux has got bored with the footprints quite quick, having not succeeded. I'm gonna look to Bonce again and just say, Bonce, I heard there was some kind of witch in town. What's the story behind that?
Yes, well, as I think I said before, there are some people who are against or negligent of progress, I suppose. There is a lady in town by the name of Harriet Walsh. Seems to think of herself as some kind of politely, I would call her a believer in old age medicine and perhaps creatures that others have long since decided do not exist.
Well, folks like that often hold a lot of sway with rural people, shall we say. Might be worth having a little chat with her. Might know something more.
Of course, that can be arranged, I'm sure.
I think, having failed to find more footprints outside, I'll probably come back and maybe try and gather the rest of the party together and just sort of ask, look, I don't know what you've seen, but have any of you seen others like? What have you seen? Anything comparable? Anything that would do this sort of thing?
There's nothing to go on here. Could be anything. It could be wild animals, couldn't it? I mean,
well, I don't know of any animals that would leave those sorts of marks.
Could have been a human in funny shoes.
I don't think we've seen anything compelling that makes me think anything supernatural has occurred.
But none of there's you can't just get. There are no trails. The bodies aren't here. There are no trails where bodies might have been removed. There's the weird blood trail upstairs that just starts and stops you can't. It's
Well, you are the expert on looking into these crimes. From my perspective, that's what I see. I think we should talk to the witch, and then failing that, spend the night here.
I agree. Night here is the next best way forward from now. By the way, was Bonce listening to our conversation about others and things that Bonner was bringing up then? Were you trying to avoid?
I was trying to, yes,
trying to avoid.
Not not absolutely guaranteeing that, but yes, trying to have a discreet conversation.
Cool.
I'm just thinking, if I'd been tracking Wounded Rabbit or something, and then a trail of blood suddenly ends in an empty forest, I'd have assumed the rabbit got eaten.
I can imagine a rabbit being carried off by something, which is why I was checking the ceiling. But to suddenly stop with no other, I don't know. This is just strange. There's so little care been taken with the those blood pools, and yet a total absence of evidence elsewhere. It's strange.
What time of day is it, Johnny?
Early afternoon. No,
Well,
I think.
Well, we've got time to have a think about what we want to do next, if we do spend the night or not.
If we do wish to entertain the notion that it is one of these others, as you call them, then talking to the witch is certainly a good idea.
Yeah, I guess go over to Bonson and go, okay, let's go see her then.
Right. Yeah. I'll lead the way. She often isn't at her dwelling during the day. Wanders off, picks mushrooms and the like, but we'll try. We'll try. I'll just go let Mr. Wilton know that we're leaving, just in case he needs to be back in here. So he disappears off, leaving you for a moment.
We ought to be careful with that one. Talk of others and the like. I know he knows where we're from, what sorts, but even so, not going to be helpful if he starts thinking we're mad.
I agree. Yes. Although, well, depending on how things play out, I guess we'll see.
Something to think about if we're talking to this witch, though. Be handy to have an open conversation with her if she sees him too.
I mean, she might be nothing of the sort, of course. It's perhaps we should be careful in how we approach it to begin with. But hopefully.
Right. Off we go. Wilton's glad to be rid of us. And he leads you back towards town. Oh, as you're sort of halfway back, he says, I forgot to mention, actually, the Sir Rupert sent some books and documents up that he said may be of interest. Maybe not. Never just talks straight, does he? Anyway, they're at the station if you want to look at them at any point. I do think that if you want to get hold of Ms. Walsh, we should probably go there first on the off chance that she is available, because she's
It seems a good idea to try.
Right. You are taken to a sort of standalone cottage that's at the edge of the town, and there's a sort of fence around the edge that's got some panels sort of missing, and the front garden is overgrown, perhaps on purpose, like a 19th century rewilding effort, or out of negligence. You couldn't really say. And you see Bont sort of pause at the gap where a gate would be, and takes a breath and then steps forward. And you wait for a moment and there's no response. And he turns and starts walking away, and the door creaks open behind him, and he jumps as the door creaks.
I will audibly laugh.
Nice.
And you see a woman who, I don't want to be presumptuous about what you would expect, but she probably doesn't look like you were expecting from the descriptions of her. She is a woman in, you would say, probably her mid-20s, who is wearing a dress, a reasonably nice dress, which is mostly very clean, apart from some of the bottom and the knees, which look to have been, she's probably been kneeling, you imagine, and potentially walking through some muddy areas. But yeah, you may have been expecting sort of some eccentric, older lady and disheveled, and she's not that at all. And she says, good morning. No, sorry. Is it afternoon? Good afternoon. How can I help you all? Is it upset stomach, an aching of the head?
Well, there certainly is an aching of the head in some ways, but not a headache, more of a head scratcher. We're here...
Knit. I've just the thing. She pulls a bottle.
Not today, although my many bairns will certainly appreciate that. A later note. We're here today we've been looking into the terrible affair at the tower, Radcliffe Tower. We're here to investigate what may have happened to those disappeared young men.
I see. I'm only aware of Ruth Jones's husband. I'm not sure.
Yes, Mr.
and only
Jones.
that because I tend to keep to myself, but she came here asking me for something to help her sleep. So she told me about what happened to her husband, but please.
Did you ever meet the husband?
Come inside.
I say
inside.
coming in. Ever meet the husband?
No. I think they were more of a modern science family, and the church and such. And
looking around,
I'm not either of those, I'm afraid.
Of course. I'm gonna sit down.
Has
Yeah,
Constance shown any uncomfortableness at coming here, by the
Yes.
way? Yeah. I was gonna
Yes,
say.
she's paused on the threshold, I
I
would
see.
imagine, before entering, and probably looked around to see if there's anything sort of obviously overly esoteric around, and whether or not her conscience would let her enter.
I like to imagine her at least. I don't know what denomination she is, but at least crossing herself before she walks through the door.
Justin, did you say Gail's going to sit?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of there's a table which is covered in bottles and herbs and sort of mixing pots, which has a few chairs around it. Most of these are piled high with books. And as you turn and look at a chair, she sort of appears from around you and lifts the books off the chair, allowing you to sit. And if anybody else similarly looks at a seat, the second that you kind of think I need to move these to sit there, she appears and moves the things from the seat. Almost spookily, with the second you think it, she appears from behind you or around you and removes the things from those chairs.
I'm gonna be like picking up bottles of things and seeing if any of them have any labels.
Yes. Some of them. How's Gail's Latin?
Obviously impeccable.
Some of them are Latin names for plants. There are some which are sort of powdered mushrooms, things like that.
When I said impeccable, I meant it's perfectly cromulent.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing weird. Like you're probably aware of sort of, old school medicine and sort of healing poultices and this kind of thing. And that seems to be the majority of what is here on the table. I'm
gonna keep saying stupid modelling things unless someone interrupts me. So.
As a fellow herbalist, can I try and get a bit of a measure of her as a healer? But what does she seem legit based on the herbs she's got lying around her living room?
Yes. Yeah. There are some things that you don't recognize, or at least don't know the names that the things are labeled with. So whether or not she's just got a bit of everything and therefore she's got the right things as well as a bunch of wrong things, you're not sure, or whether she does know what she's on about and she has some additional things that you just don't know what they are, or maybe they're not for sort of healing or whatever, and they're different, things that you might not know about.
Right.
But yes, certainly a number of the things that you would expect her to have for what she's kind of claiming to be, she has.
Okay.
Inspector, it's nice to see you. It's not often I get the pleasure. Sorry, how can I help everybody? It was the knits, wasn't it? The knits, yes. And she goes and picks up the same bottle that she'd left by the door, and says, "There you are, for your children." Of course.
Thank you. I'll pocket it and pay for it.
She kind of waves her hand at.
I'll place the cash down on the table, and then
she picks it up and puts it in her dress pocket.
Cool. I'm good. We were, as I said, we were looking into the Radcliffe Tower disappearances. Those two young policemen and those workers. Did any of them ever come to you for any treatments? Perhaps we can work out maybe what was going on inside their heads.
My, is that right, officer? Two of your lads. Yes, I'm afraid so. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. And somebody else other than
I'll rattle off the list of the names.
Yeah. Right. Oh my. Have any of them come to see me before?
We understand that patient confidentiality must be very important in your line of work, especially when you're dealing with all of the boils and tennis elbows of the village.
Well, obviously it was some of these people may have come to see my mother before me, you see, but well, I mean, what's it been since she died? 40 years, so it can't have anyone who's paying attention is like, what? So I mean, these people may have been bairns when she may have cared for them, or but no, I can't think that these names are people that I've seen.
What about the tower?
Radcliffe Tower. I know that my mother dealt with the last Radcliffe to live there.
Dealt with?
Yeah, well, it was 100 or so years ago, so she there weren't so many scientific doctors around then in these more rural areas, so I suppose that she was second to a village doctor, town doctor for them. But I couldn't tell you exactly what happened with the whole Radcliffe Wilton situation, I'm afraid.
What was your mother's name? Unless it's not important to the story.
It's not, but Jane.
Were there ever any other inhabitants of the tower other than the Radcliffes and the Wiltons?
Well, not apart from servants and other staffing, I suppose. In terms of families and owners, that's it as far as it goes back, I believe.
No one who may have lived there without notice.
Well, I suppose that's difficult to say, isn't it? I suppose these big homes and towers, can have areas that people could hide away in, if that's what you're asking.
Henry will be sort of looking between the others in the group. Yes. Trying to determine whether anyone has a particularly nice way of flashing the Vaesen badge. It's like, yeah.
What do you think of this building work that's going on? A lot of the people we've talked to in the village have said that they're not too pleased about it.
Well, as I'm sure you can imagine, I'm much more of a traditionalist myself, but I always think that the world can change around me and I can remain the same. So I try not to let material things like that upset me too badly.
And you're not necessarily. You ever been a friend of the young Wilton attended any of his parties? I hear they're
Can't-
quite the gathering.
I certainly don't think that I'm the kind of person that Mr. Wilton would want at a party. However nice my dresses may be.
If Henry is looking around to see if we're kind of like anyone's going to make the move, I think you might just get kind of a subtle look at Bonce and then like shake head, or if nothing else, I think Hux is probably he's seen enough, had enough bad experiences. But that's just what you see him do.
Inspector,
Yes?
would you mind waiting outside for a couple of minutes?
Direct, I like it.
His shoulders relax as you ask him that question, and he says, "No, of course not. No. Yes, I'll be just outside." He heads out.
And if you'd like to accompany him, sister, feel free.
Constance also heads out, I think.
Ah, well done, B.
Had enough pissing about.
I'll look to
Harriet,
B?
Did we introduce?
I just said B. To be fair, I did just say
Okay.
B.
that's fair.
You did actually.
Do you know why we're here?
About the disappearances at the tower.
Yeah.
Do you know why we're here?
Apart from the head lice remedy, I'm afraid I don't.
We've come from London. Part of what's it called, Gail?
The Apollonian Society.
Yeah, that. It's a posh name for a group of people who see stuff. Stuff most others don't see. Wondering if you might know what we're talking about.
Stuff that's been around for a very long time.
And no, we're not just talking about the road system.
I think I have an idea of what you may be discussing.
So in light of that, is there anything else you might be able to tell us about the tower? Just
You see,
trying to
there
make
was-
sure no one else gets hurt.
There was all this blood that would just appear, and then the trail would lead nowhere, or more accurately, it would disappear. Some odd footprints we saw. People have gone missing. Tools have gone missing.
Yeah.
A fire started without any warning.
Mischief.
You've been here a long time. Your family has, right? You must know something about that place if you know what we're talking about.
She turns behind her and pulls a few books from a shelf and drops them down on the table and says, I need to go and collect some things for something that I'm brewing up, but these are the books that I have relating to other worlds and such like. You can stay here and read them, or I don't mind lending them to you as long as you return them in one piece. I don't know anything specific about the tower, but maybe they'll be of help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I will say is that, in my experience, most of them don't harm without reason. And them that do, you want to be very careful of.
Well, if it turns out to be them, then let's hope it's the former.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you, and hope to see you again, and not just when you return me books.
I'm sure you'll be able to find us if there's anything else that comes up that you can think of.
We're at the pub. Let's say which pub we're at.
The Lockkeeper. Right. Well, I must go. And she picks up a bag, and you hear the sort of rattle of sort of bottles and stuff in there. And she heads out. Leaves the door open behind her.
Just follow her out, yeah.
Yeah. She nods at the inspector and Constance as she passes.
I'll probably like pour the books into my book bag. And,
Don't get them mixed up.
I know what books I have in my book bag.
These ones would be it would be quite difficult to confuse these with Gail's other books, I think.
Are these quite old books, quite new books?
Quite old books.
Back to the pub for a pint?
Yeah, it's still fairly early, right?
Yeah,
Not too early,
three,
you know. You can...
Perfect time for a pint.
Yeah.
There were other books at you said the station, Jonny?
Yeah, police station, yeah.
Police station, yeah. Is it like a lot of books, or is it, can we pick those up on the way and go back to?
Are you asking Bonds?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
There's well, they were sent up in a trunk, probably carryable across town by one of you.
Hugs can carry it. Hugs can carry it.
Charming.
Glad to know you think I'm useful.
I always thought you were good at carrying things, Hux.
I will kind of hang back to Constance for a moment and then just nod at her and say, seems she could see him too, but she didn't know more about the tower. Not specifically, anyway. Just gave her some books.
Heading to the station.
I think it makes sense to pick those up and see what they've sent us.
Cool. Yeah, you sort of wander there. Bonds just gets you to wait outside, goes inside, grabs the trunk. You can see through a window that a couple of the officers are kind of looking at things and sort of shooting glances at you out of the window. You know, a group of 5 people coming to town and being wandered round by the inspector is probably not particularly standard fare, especially on what's essentially an active investigation that involves the death of 2 of their colleagues, and which none of them are really looking into.
I suppose I will ask Bonds that, spotting them look at us, and I'll just look to him and go, so what did you tell the others? Look, glancing at the folks in the window, that we're doing here.
Told him it was special branch. Thought it was easiest.
I looked down at myself. And
Even special branch have lackeys, Hux.
Mosling is definitely angling for the first overnight stay in the tower, I reckon, at this point.
Right, I do have some other things to attend to. Can I leave you for the afternoon? And you know where I am if you need me.
Certainly.
All right.
It sounds like, given our plans, there's not much else we could tell you until tomorrow, at very least, I suppose. Everyone else think the same?
Yes, I think we've got some reading to do.
Tomorrow morning, then, we'll come find you.
I'll see you in the morning, all being well.
I'm guessing he did at some point hear our conversation about staying in the tower, then.
I mean, I guess we'd mentioned it to each other in, whilst we're there. It's certainly not outside the realms of possibility. Not on the first night, though. That would be crazy.
You don't want to speed run the scenario?
Because at this point, we're basically, rushing through the whole story, as far as I can tell from talking to Jonny, right?
So what's kind of the contents of this stuff from the station?
Kind of just similar to what you've got from Harriet in terms of their sort of books about the Fae folk, different types and sort of stories about them, and like, for example, if for a lot of them have things like, if there was an entry for giant, it would mention Jack and the Beanstalk as a folk tale of that thing, and so on. So it's kind of many of them are not written as factual. Some of them are collections of folk tales and the things that they've come from, and so on. Are you going to sit and kind of pore over these now?
To the pub, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, it seems. Yeah.
Okay. You walk into the pub. Can you all make me?
Is the pub evil now?
Bill is trying to kill us.
There's loads of pools of blood on the floor.
I left my son in here. Don't say
God,
that.
yeah.
All right.
And in the middle is your son standing there looking a bit bad.
But fine.
With pointy shoes.
And really heavy.
It's just...
Pointy shoes with 2 iron weights.
There's a note earlier when Magnus hefted him on his shoulders. He was just like walking through town. It was the clue.
Oh, amazing.
Oh yeah, that's what I want. Observation roll, please, when you walk in.
Oh, that's
Observation.
Right.
0 successes.
No. Oh, a success somehow.
6 dice for me. I get 2 successes.
B, you notice a slight shift in atmosphere when you walk in. Hooks and Henry notice that Bill is behind the bar, and as the second before you walked in, you get the feeling that he was almost pacing. And he looks relieved to see you walk in. But it's like a split-second thing, and then it's back to normal. Drink.
So we don't get any of the weird shifts in atmosphere that B got, though.
My point was more that she doesn't notice specifically that it's Bill.
Okay,
Just
sorry.
something's up.
Something was
There's something when you walked in seemed slightly off, and then it's okay again. Whereas you both noticed specifically that
I took the atmosphere far too literally. Apologies.
No.
Yeah. Yes, I'd like a pint.
Of course, yes.
I will probably look around to see if others seem to have clocked that Bill was. Certainly, Henry will look like a bit kind of perhaps a slight frown or something as well. And I'll look at you with a frown as well, and look at Bill, and maybe just hesitate for a moment, unsure if I'm going to bring it up.
Be kind of not at Bill, but sort of looking around the room, a bit of a frown face. I'm gonna go check on Adam.
I will head over to the bar and say, yes, yeah, I'll have a pint, please, and then kind of lean a bit, lower my voice a bit, and anything wrong?
No. Pint coming up.
Is there anyone else here, or is it just us? Is it empty before we arrived?
There are a couple of men sort of sitting at a table over in a corner having a conversation by themselves.
Any evidence that they particularly clocked us? I mean, obviously they noticed us, but are they like paying attention to us anyway? Or
no, their conversation, no break in the conversation. They just continue.
No sign that they were also unsettled before we arrived. It seems like just Bill.
Nope.
And no sign that he would have been unsettled at them for any reason.
Nope, not that you can see.
And when he tells me that nothing's wrong, do I believe him?
Based on your previous role, no.
Yeah, I'll be having taken a glance at the room and then be looking back at, presumably having noticed Henry at least said something to him, kind of just a slight shake of my head, like.
I'm going to sit down by the fireplace to start reading the books.
Cool. B, you get up to your room, and Adam is there playing with like a spinning top, which you don't own, so you presume that Bill has provided it. There is an empty plate with sort of crumbs on it, so he's obviously been fed, and he's fine.
Good. You can come downstairs if you fancy, Adam. We're back for now. Try not to bother Mr. Musling.
He grins and gets up and follows you down, brings the spinning top with him. And his plate.
And the plate. Good lad.
I'll lean up on the bar next to Henry, kind of just like leaning, shuffling over it slightly, as if like leaning towards Bill, just like giving him a slightly quizzical look. I'm just trying to make it apparent that like I also spotted something was up, and he can't really get away with not explaining it without saying anything.
Right, there you are. Drinks for everyone. Don't worry, all covered by Sir Rupert.
How's your day been? Anything interesting gone on whilst we've been away?
No, nothing here. How was the tower?
Well, it's definitely something of a mystery.
Yeah,
we have some work to do, but yes, nothing conclusive yet, I'm afraid.
Is there anything else about it you'd like to share with us?
No, it's just, don't want anything bad to happen to anyone else, do we? It's as much as people might not want him to be knocking the building down. Nobody wants anything bad to happen to anybody else.
But you not so worried about the folks who stay up there all the time?
Well, they've been fine till now, haven't they? Plus, from what I've heard, it seems to be contained to the tower rather than the house. So can't imagine Wilton spends that much time mucking out the animals or whatever they're using the tower for these days.
I won't push Bill anymore, given he doesn't seem much willing to share anything else, but I will keep watching him.
Yeah, I guess I'll take the pint. Maybe go over and grab a book as well and start flicking through. You know, maybe just sort of casting my eyes around the place and just sort of, just trying to continue reading the atmosphere and just keeping tabs on things.
So is the general plan for now, is everybody going to be looking through books, do you think?
I don't think B is a desperately good reader because I have 0 points in education. And Adam's been locked up all day. So we're going to go for a walk. And I will extend an offer to Hux if he wants to join us.
Yeah, go on then. I'll come for a walk. Wasn't like I was doing anything here anyway.
And here I was hoping for a scene where Mosling teaches Adam to read.
Maybe later.
N is for Necropolis.
Okay.
A is for the A1.
Steve and Justin, can you make me learning rolls, please?
Okay.
Steve, in answer to your question, I think learning is the education role.
I just realised that. I was thinking I don't have any points in education. Learning's fine. I do have points in learning.
Well, you got my learning from a street. I did. No success. Oh, can I use? Well, you go. You go thing.
Go
on, Steve. Go on, Steve.
I got 1 success with 7 dice.
Okay. What were you going to say, Justin?
Can I use my book collection, which gives +1 learning, to supplement my book reading roll?
Sure. Yeah.
No successes. Still no successes.
Okay.
How are books on roads going to help you?
Indices,
he's got a dictionary.
Indexes. You never know what you find in indexes.
You know what I
sometimes
think?
You find that an index in a one book will lead you to a different page in a different book. And it will be the
You know
same
what I
topic.
think Gale does? Gale does exactly that, and then ends up just reading books on like roads and railways after like 5 or 10
favourite
minutes.
road, yeah.
Having like started.
I believe that Gale did also swap out some of his travel books for other books at the library at Rose House.
That is true. Yes,
Yeah,
that is true.
But I do end up reading travel books.
Steve, Henry feels like the answer is just out of reach at the moment.
Typical.
Yeah. You think you're close to something. You haven't quite put the pieces together yet.
I don't suppose I found anything along the lines of big dogs either. Whilst
yeah, I think you found a couple.
Okay.
Couple of entries. I think you found a little bit of information about werewolves and a little bit of information about black dogs.
Okay. I'll be making note of those just for my own personal circumstance.
I just find these things so boring. There's nothing as interesting as a good travel book.
Fantastical supernatural creatures or roads.
Cool.
Sam and John, Hooks and Bees walk.
So are we going to end up spending the night up there then?
Sounds like it.
You
If
and
not
Adam.
tonight, then tomorrow night.
You and Adam don't have to, you know.
Well, Adam doesn't have to. I do. What happens if something jumps out at you?
Yeah, I suppose I
You
wouldn't.
think Mosling's going to fight it off?
I'm not sure how much I trust them too. You're right. I'd be glad to have you back there anyway.
Thank you.
What do you reckon we're going to find? Something we're going to be able to talk to?
I think so.
Hope so. Certainly made a mess otherwise.
I don't think... Unless it's got 2 feet and a peg leg. That means it's smart enough to use a tool. Maybe a cane. It's usually a sign of intelligence, isn't it?
And maybe it tried to clean up. Looks like anyway, right?
Yeah. Maybe something else did.
Hmm.
Maybe there's 2 of them.
Well.
Either way, I don't think we'll find anything on the first night.
Don't reckon? Nothing's going to come.
Not.
I guess it depends what we're doing there, right?
Yeah.
Seems like those policemen were jumped on just for what, being there? I don't know what they were doing.
They were cops.
Certainly workmen. Well, we know why they would jump, don't we?
But they weren't straight away.
Maybe they were building up to it, scared at first, or maybe they thought they'd go away.
Or maybe something happened. You know, first it's just a bit of mischief and then it becomes personal.
Reckon the mischief was just to scare them off. Didn't work, did it? Had to get more drastic.
Maybe. Yeah, I reckon you're right, Hux.
Jonny, do we know if the workmen were there overnight when they were attacked? Or were they just attacked like later in the day? Or
so one was the first person to arrive in the morning, and the other was the last person to leave at night. So it was people, they were on their own.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, they didn't work overnight or anything. It was
yeah, but it was clearly, given the time
it wasn't
of year,
when it was the busiest. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have that conversation with me. It was all near or during the night, right? Do you reckon it would have been dark when those workmen were in? Well, morning and evening anyway. This time of year might have been, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
So they don't like the light.
And they were all attacked on their own, apart from the 2 police.
Hmm.
I was wondering whether maybe the 5 of us going up is too many.
Well, I'm not sure we really want to deliberately be putting ourselves in danger, though, if we can avoid it. But I see your point. If we even want to meet them, whatever they are. I guess we can see what the others think. Hope they found something in their damn books. Maybe if we remind them about fire and they don't like light, maybe that'll help.
In the meantime, though, I've got to wear this boy out before bedtime. I spent the entire day inside.
Hux will immediately take the initiative and just run the other direction and grab, like, does he have a hat or something? Adam's
Let's
probably
say
got a
yeah.
hat. Yeah, I'll like grab Adam's woolly hat and just run the other direction and go, ah!
He's not
Charming.
a dog, Sam.
It'll work, right? He's that sort of age. Or does
Yeah.
Adam just cry? Adam just cries.
I think if
God.
anyone else had done it, he'd just cry. I think he likes Hux. He'll follow Hux.
Yeah, but the next night, Hux will just push him in a pond or something. You know, it's going to escalate.
No, Hux knows B's got a gun.
It's true, I do.
Okay, everyone reconvening.
Yeah.
Cool. It's on its way to getting dark now. Nearing sort of evening meal time. Presumably you're planning on having some food before you go.
Before we go?
Yeah. To the tower.
To the tower.
We've got to go find out what's going on. The only way we're going to encounter anything.
You want to stay overnight in a place where people have died?
Look, what do you think
There's
we're
no-
here for?
there's no indication that this is in any way supernatural. Apart from
I'm
some
not-
blood trails.
Not entirely sure I agree with that, but either way.
Well, I'm not sure I entirely agree either, but we need to gather hard facts.
All of
Did
the
you find
effects have
any-
happened when it's dark. So we're not going to find anything in the middle of the day.
Exactly. Did you find anything in them books then?
Nothing relating to the tower. I feel like with a bit more time, maybe, but
Well, I don't really
usual
want to sit
method
around
has
for
not
another day.
worked. No. Let's get some hot chocolate made up, and a couple of sandwiches, and buy some firewood, and should be quite pleasant.
Johnny, can I make a point of going with that little shopping list to Bill and saying, could we have these things? We're going to go up to the tower for tonight, and make a point of watching his face when I say that to see how he reacts.
Yeah, gives another what was it? Roll.
observation?
Yes.
I think it was observation last time, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't succeed at that one.
He drops the. Is it a written list you're giving him, or are you literally just?
I think I just
saying
repeat
the
what
list of things.
Gail said then.
He drops a glass that he's cleaning as you ask him, but you think he's just dropped it.
Okay.
Hux goes, way!
I'm like,
Sack the juggler!
I think I probably just surprised him by saying my list too loud. Okay.
Yes, I can probably help you with those. Give me 30 minutes.
No rush. And then I'll come back to the group and be like, so nothing in them books. All these books. We've got fire. We've got they don't like light. I thought books were supposed to be helpful for something.
Well, they do take time to read.
Very rarely.
You were no help. As I say, maybe, maybe with a bit more time.
Well, maybe you can bring some up and read them by the firelight then, eh?
Yeah.
Not sure we'll all be getting a nice, quiet night's sleep up there anyway.
Just make sure you don't get any blood on any of Harriet's books.
You're sure Adam will be all right overnight here, right, B?
He's had to sleep while I was out before.
Well, if
You gonna be all right, Adam? Yeah.
Still spinning his top on the table.
probably just mildly irritating us with this noise for like hours, isn't he?
Johnny.
Can you make me
The suspense.
a vigilance roll?
Yes. 1 plus 3 is 4.
Is this to notice that Adam's been swapped out for a changeling?
Or Adam's
One
got unusually
success.
dense.
Got really pointy shoes on.
If it was any of those things, you'd have ruined my story. No.
Oh, we like playing with fire.
You just kind of in passing notice that this spinning top looks quite old.
Can I have a look at that, Adam?
This is over.
I'm going to have a closer look at it.
Yeah, it's just it looks very well used and definitely I would say that you could say for certain that it was more than 25 years old.
Where did you find this?
I've forgotten Bill's surname.
I can't remember if you ever...
You see. Yeah, Mr. Trent.
Huh. That's very nice. You look after it. Make sure you don't break it.
Mm-hmm.
Hand
Spins
it
it again
back.
if he's giving it back. Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's made
My
me more
sons are quite a
anxious than-
spinning top. Yeah, all right. He'll be fine. He's got a new toy. I'll keep him busy for the...
Does it make any
foreseeable.
weird noises, like, discordant choirs or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Okay,
No.
good. Just checking.
It's assuming we're all ready then. Head out. If nothing else happens, Bill. doesn't
Yeah,
say
so
anything before we go.
yeah, I suppose you sit around for sort of another 20 minutes, probably nursing your drink and maybe continuing to leaf through books or chat or whatever. And Bill appears with sort of a bunch of firewood and whatever the other things were that you said that you were.
I think Gail wants a hot
Food and-
chocolate.
Yeah,
I don't know how available hot
Food,
chocolate is.
firewood,
mate.
hot chocolate.
yeah.
Yeah. Do I give a
Very
fuck?
bloody
Because
demanding.
It's actually just a tea, and he's hoping you won't notice.
Brown
I'm
tea.
certain that drinking chocolate is available. I don't know what I'm basing this on, but I am certain that it is there.
That's the sort of
Okay.
historical accuracy that we aim to
Like this out.
maintain.
Yeah,
here at
everyone
Point
quickly
Girls.
Wikipediaing drinking chocolate.
I mean, drinking form was how it was originally consumed, I believe, but we're talking about not in the UK.
Oh, I love it. We've
Um,
succumbed to.
This is how all role-playing games set in the past should be.
Mm.
And I don't
We need
care
a
if you
team
don't
of
like
researchers behind the scenes, sort of feeding us.
My
Oh,
Wait.
my
I'm getting it in.
my brief look just said 1655. So
Oh,
okay.
I think you could. I think you could.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is Lancashire we're talking about. So.
Yeah.
they've already got just OXO cubes. Just-
My God.
they've just got Marmite. The empty jar that you pour hot water into. Is that what you're saying, Sam?
It's fine. I can say this. I'm from Lancashire originally, anyway.
I would say that Gail can have a drinking chocolate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I know
It
I
may
could,
not be of
because
the
that is
highest
what I
quality.
asked for from the proprietor, and the proprietor will get me my drinking chocolate. Come
Gail
out,
just
I
sits
want
there and refuses to leave until.
Anyway,
I'll,
with that,
Oh,
I'll have
and
put Adam to bed before before Gale gets his hot chocolate.
If we don't have one as well, I would have
Okay.
grabbed like a lantern or something as well, as like in addition to the fire.
What a smart idea.
I think that you would certainly have brought at least 3 between you.
Yeah. Cool.
Because there's every chance that you would need to be out and about when it's dark, especially at this time of year. So I think that's completely reasonable.
In that case, I make sure at the very least that I have one.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, off we go.
I take it Mosling's going to clear this with.
I had thought, I was just thinking this, Mr. Bonneville. I'm not certain. I mean, should we?
He won't even know we're
should
here.
pop
He will with those torches, surely.
He might, the last thing we need is him blundering in with a gun.
It's already dark. He's probably presuming there's some investigation there. He's not going to come looking. We'll be gone by morning. Whatever. It's up to you.
Yes, I think you're right.
Who? Which one?
Yes, Mr. Huxley. Mr. Huxley, I think. I think overall, perhaps it would be good to be able to go to the grounds without the master of the house being aware.
So you want to trespass on his property? That's what you're saying.
Well, that's a funny thing. British law on travel
my God.
through the right of way of.
So we've
of
decided.
the right of
We've
trespass.
decided we're going to the tower without asking. Good.
Okay.
Trump on ahead.
So you all wander through the town the way that you remember from earlier, and travel on up this driveway path towards the tower / the manor house. As you approach, you hear the sound of music, and you see many lights out of the windows of the house. And one could assume upon approach that he is throwing one of his infamous soirees this evening.
I'm not sure we could even get permission if we wanted, eh?
Is the soiree? I mean, is the music like a kind of like jazzy, kind of roaring? Is it a fun kind of like
It's
swinging
more-
tunes, or is it like
It's more string quartet.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm just because I can't shake this feeling that these parties are like bacchanalian blood orgies.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the soundtrack to a bacchanalian blood orgy is, but I think we'll find out.
Well, string quartet doesn't sound.
Yeah, they're Victorians, so it still can't be too happy, even if it is a bacchanalian blood orgy.
Wait, are we saying they're happier now? I'm confused.
What?
Cool. Right. We'll head to the tower with this conversation going on.
Terribly distracted this evening. Do apologise.
Yeah, you can wander to the tower. Are you lit as you're walking to the tower?
I was going to say I would rather we weren't. If everyone's okay with that, since we're trying to kind of sneak in.
I think like B and Hux are probably going to be fairly.
I might
with.
If it's dark enough that it's difficult, I might have like a dim on the front of the lantern just so I can see the ground in front of me.
So that I'm not doing this, and Sam, can you roll a d6 on a 4, 5, 6? It is a clear night, and on a 1, 2, 3, it is cloudy.
It is cloudy.
Okay. In which case, can everyone make me vigilance rolls to see how well you manage to make your way without injury? if you're unlit.
1 success.
1 success.
0 successes.
No successes.
This is a good idea.
Okay.
Sorry, folks, you're dead. That's it.
Trip in a rabbit hole. And
Okay.
break your neck.
B and Gale, both of you, as you are making your way to the tower, trip one of you over a tree root and another over a bit of masonry from the tower that has been left around outside the tower. But you manage to regain your footing and do not make such a noise that anyone is alerted, as far as you are aware. And you manage to make your way inside the tower.
Presumably upon arriving, dark, silent, no sign of any activity. I'm kind of listening if I'm leading the way.
Correct. Yes. Although, you know, there is the possibility that there could be some low-level sound that is being covered by your movement and or the sound of the party from inside. You can, from sort of the entrance to the tower, you can hear the music and you can also hear sort of the low chatter of conversation and stuff from inside. If there was much noise, but obviously there's the sound of, you know, if somebody was just quietly walking inside here, you wouldn't necessarily hear them over that sound.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, and especially if like there's a bit of noise, I think I'll step in, assuming I'm first, and just stop in the entrance, wait, like the opening for a sec, and just kind of look around the tower and then go, if there's anyone or anything here, we don't mean no harm. We're here to talk if you want to. We'll be here a while. And then I'll just step inside. And then presumably start piling up some firewood for a fire, if that seems safe enough.
Okay.
And if there's no response, which I thought was safe to assume.
There is no response. Is everyone else heading inside?
Yes.
So I am sorely tempted to stick my nose up against one of the window panes and see what this party's like.
You can move closer to the house if you want, Gale.
I just don't think I'm stealthy enough. I think I'd give the whole game away.
You just have.
You could get an invite. He's already invited you.
Yeah, but to have your nose up against the glass is a bit different, isn't it?
Oh my god. I was wondering whether it would be sensible for somebody to stay outside the tower observing it from a distance to see whether, you know, where things
Catch a
approach
cold?
Yeah, what was it, October? Yeah. I've started lighting the fire unless anyone stopped me now, so.
Fair enough.
Yep, you managed to get a nice... I presume you're going for a sort of low-level fire that will cast light and keep you warm.
Yeah, warm if you sit close sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you managed to get that, no problem.
Can I, slight retcon, have said in among our stuff that we're bringing with us, could I have asked Bill for like, this is a folklore deep cut, like a container of cream or something?
Yeah.
You're thinking it's a cat.
No, I'm thinking that Bee's mum always told her to leave cream out for the fairies.
Okay.
Yes. I think when you do, Bill says, yes, although you may end up having to pay Sir Rupert back for it, because I think that's slightly above what he was intending, potentially. But I'm happy to. I'll take that up with him. That's fine. So yes, he He gives you cream.
Cool.
It's not an issue from his side. It's just, it's quite a fancy thing probably for him to.
It is.
So yes, you have a container of cream.
I will leave that on a windowsill.
Okay. Is everyone going to be around the fire? Is that the plan?
Yeah. Telling ghost stories.
I guess I'll, once I've got the fire going, walk a bit of a perimeter around the tower and see if it looks like anything's changed or anything's happening. But probably not for that long, because I think I'll get bored and cold.
We should probably try and keep some sort of watch, shouldn't we? But not remain alone though. We should
I'm not
at
planning
least
on
remain
sleeping.
Mosling's already asleep.
7 p.m. He's out.
I'll take the early watch.
What else do you propose?
Well, I don't know. I've not done this before.
Neither of any of us. You're the investigator, aren't you? You've got best
Yes, but
experience of
not.
this.
But nothing supernatural.
My experience of this sort of thing, it'll see us and know we're here before we have any idea. So there's no point much in trying to go find it. We can just hope that it doesn't want us all dead first.
And how many times have you done this?
Not done this before. Seen a few things though.
So we have no knowledge of what it might be, and no experience.
We know it only comes out in the night. We know it might have killed, and some folks have gone missing because they touched this place. And we know it doesn't like the light of daylight anyway.
Sam, is Huck still carrying a crowbar? Just out of interest. He said you were always carrying a crowbar.
Yeah,
I think always carrying.
I think I'm carrying a crowbar. Yeah.
Cool. Just wanted to check.
It might sometimes be in a belt, like just hanging from the belt. But yeah, it's certainly there, visible.
It is worth noting that the things that weren't people going missing occurred during the day.
Okay.
Or at least, in the working day, whether or not it could have been towards the end when it was dark. I don't think there was anything that specifically would say that it wasn't that, but it was in the working day. It wasn't overnight.
This is what we've been brought here to do. I don't know what more we can do now.
I don't know. I don't like feeling like I'm hunted, and I've had that too much recently anyway. I don't feel at ease with this.
Whatever happened here, I don't think it was random violence. It's happened because this place was threatened, it seems like, to me.
But the police weren't threatening it.
Well, whatever happened before those poor lads disappeared, the first ones, there were warnings, something in the daytime when they were working. Doesn't seem like something that's hunting. It seems like something that doesn't want to be bothered, wants to be left alone. I agree. It's angry. So we've got to keep an eye out.
I'll be looking at the fire to ensure there's a nice sort of lit stick that I can grab if necessary. Oh, I did. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I would say as the time passes, you kind of Henry sort of sits there and he's like, okay, that one's now the one that I would take, as one sort of, burns down, and then as new wood is put on, it's sort of like, right, that's now. So you've sort of got a different prime plank throughout the evening.
My hand occasionally just reaches to the revolver that I got from the house in my pocket as I'm looking around.
I am sitting with my rifle by my side, but not wielding it aggressively.
Mosling wakes during the night and leaves the tower to urinate. He's gone for some small time.
He's gone forever. He's snatched off into the night.
Okay. I'm going to do a fantasy TTRPG thing now, but what order are you doing the night watches in? And are you doing them in pairs? I think that was what Henry
I would
said.
definitely, I think pairs, yes, because we know that individuals have gone missing.
I was going to be honest and say Hux, being an old man, was just planning on not sleeping tonight. He's been fairly well rested before this point. Is that all right?
I think going, yeah.
You could do, not telling you what to do, but you could potentially do sort of like one person does sort of 4 hours and then somebody joins them 2 hours in and does 4 hours, and you could have them kind of staggered, or whatever, that kind of thing.
In that case, if we make a plan, I'll be next to sleep, because I feel like I could go to sleep.
Cool. B's happy to take any of them. But if no one seems eager for the first watch, then she'll take the first watch.
Give me the names of the 2 people who are going to be awake at 3 a.m.
What time are we starting?
That'll definitely be Gale.
We're starting like 7.
Yeah,
because
it might be. It might be me and Gale then if it's 3, or maybe no, middle of the night. It might be like
I would, yeah. So
Gale and B maybe, because that's the. It depends which of you 2 is staying up till last, because it'll be the last person up and the first person, won't it?
I'm up last, so that's good.
Well, you get up first, so it'll be Gale
God.
and either Henry or B. You could just roll it.
Yes.
Roll off, Steve.
Sure. I mean, what I was going to say was at some point I would have probably tried to talk to B about something. So,
well, I'm asleep, so go for it. Okay.
So I guess our shifts are next to each other, and as we overlap, I would say that stuff I was reading this afternoon. I found a couple of things, not about this, but about maybe what's happened to me. It sounds daft. Something called a black dog, and a werewolf. I don't know, just...
Well, are you a werewolf?
Is the moon full at the moment? Have we had a full moon recently?
It's cloudy.
It's cloudy. Not to my knowledge. I mean, I've... How would I know? Anyway.
That's a good question. Do you find yourself dreaming about chasing rabbits on full moons?
No.
Probably not a werewolf then.
Well, that's something, I guess. Oh, well.
Can you both make me vigilance rolls, please?
Okay, I'll be rolling 5 dice.
4.
Nothing.
1 success.
Okay. B. You hear a noise outside that you think maybe some kind of sort of pheasant call, but it doesn't sound exactly like that. Would be investigate.
Yes.
Okay. Is B saying anything to Henry?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll probably lift up her rifle and point in the direction that the noise came from. Might be game. Might not. I'm going
Should
to
I wake the
investigate.
others?
I don't want to spook it. Get ready. Get ready to wake them. I'll go.
Okay. So I guess I will be... So if you're going out, I'll be kind of dividing the distance and trying to watch what you're... Like, keep an eye on you, but be prepared to sprint and, you know, rouse the others.
Okay. Is B taking a lantern?
Yes, but dimmed.
Okay.
Because if it's something, she doesn't want to startle it, but she wants a lantern in case she needs to run to not trip over things.
Okay. So just to clarify location, this is out of this. So the way that the tower and the manor are is almost like an L shape. I think you could see from the drawing. So if that's the tower, then the manor building is there. So you've got sort of this area here, which the drive kind of carries on up that way, the sort of drive pathway. And the sound is kind of from out this side of the tower. So like the manor house side of the tower, as opposed to the other side, which is all kind of open fields and stuff over that way.
Okay.
So yes, you head out, rifle and lantern, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. B spots a figure between her and the manor house, which looks to be stooping over. Are you just sort of observing for a moment?
Yes.
Okay. It's facing away from you at the moment and doesn't seem to have noticed the small amount of light that you are giving off presently.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch it for now.
Okay.
There's another one sneaking on that back up on us, isn't there? There's bound to be. Sorry.
This figure, you would guess from here, is sort of 2/3 standard human height. But it, as I said, it's stooping over, so it's not 100% easy to tell. You then catch a kind of it stands more upright, and you catch a bright flash of red from the top of its head. and you see it spin towards you, and then it's gone. And you see that what it was stooping over was the body, presumably, of a partygoer. And we'll leave it there.
Cool.
Great. So now we're on someone else's land, trespassing, and there's been another death.
But there's a body this time.
While we do XP, thanks everybody for watching. If anybody has any questions or comments, please put them in the chat and we will discuss those momentarily. But we will do questions for experience points now. So, did you participate in the session? Yes. Did you confront any Vaesen?
Yes.
John can have an XP, I think. Did you identify a previously unknown Vaesen? I'm going to say no to this.
What about Steve?
I don't think you've identified what it is yet, though.
Were you affected by your dark secret? I'm still going to say no. Did you take risks to protect other people? I would say that you all did by being in the tower at night.
Yeah,
I would say that is. Have you learned anything? And if so, what? Well, what?
I think we've learned things.
Yeah, you definitely learned stuff.
We've learned about the witch who is older than she seems.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Really good anti-aging cream, I think.
Did you develop something in your headquarters is a no. And did you perform an extraordinary action? I think that's a no again.
No.
So
drinking chocolate.
I think you'll find going to sleep straight away in a house where lots of people are murdered is pretty extraordinary.
In the cold.
I managed to stop Gail talking about travel books. I think that can.
When? In what situation did that happen?
At least talk over you enough so that.
So I think that everybody will now have more than 5 XP, which means that you can buy an advance. So you can either increase the value of a skill by 1 step or buy a new talent. You can never have more than 5 in a skill, but there's no limit to how many talents you can purchase.
But your talents are only from your book, right? Like your class.
I've got a feeling that the ones that you actually get from here, I'll clarify this, but I think these might be able to be from any, potentially, but I'm not sure. So I'll check that between sessions and get back to you. Has anybody already planned what they're going to do with this, or should we just reveal them all next session? Okay, we'll reveal them all next session. That's fine. Cool. That was fun.
Any good lines?
That was fun.
Lots of pheasant talk in the chat.
There's a lot.
Yes,
but it's sort of devolved into an ongoing in-joke. I don't know where to start and how to introduce this to the video. So I'm just going to start with this one.
Lion Mosling. Don't kick food, thank you.
We've got other people. They've kind of got where I was going.
Yeah.
42, and then other people got mixed up, and then Steve waded in and got more mixed up.
That was good. That was really good. You're right, by the way, Johnny. You can choose freely amongst the talents after starting.
Ooh, nice.
I thought that was the case with advances, yeah, which is quite cool, I think, because you could theoretically, learn anything. Like, I suppose your class is your starting point, but from there you can sort of, it's quite nice.
That's cool.
Cool. No Simba Room this Wednesday, but should be back on next week, hopefully. I presume we're doing next Monday. It's Halloween.
Ooh, perfect. Such a good setup for that Halloween episode too. Oh, you've been left with a body.
Oh, and we should let everyone know that Inga isn't dead or anything.
Yes. Yeah, I did mean to say at the start, Inga unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening, but we'll hopefully be back next week.
We didn't murder her.
No, she's not the body, we promise.
No, Constance is sleeping peacefully, holding on to her Bible and crucifix, presumably. Spooky Vaesen, yeah. It's normally so. Yeah, I was going to say it's normally so not spooky.
Perfectly predicted, your words.
Yeah. Tower of Terrors. I said that I was going to stop going on about this, but thank you to Lord Malice and Utred43 for the character names of Sir Rupert Merryweather and Eleanor and Inspector Bertram Bonts. If you want to suggest character names for Vaesen, then come join us on the Discord and become a patron, and then I will ask you for names, maybe. So you get to support us both monetarily and with your intellectual property, which I will steal and then say thanks for.
We're going to get some contracts drawn up, aren't we? That's,
Yeah, 240 degrees. Which character is most likely going to get distracted trying to trick or treat?
Gale.
I mean, as the one person who is here with a child, I would say probably be.
But the child isn't with us, and also,
the
child isn't going to sit there demanding hot chocolate.
I feel like Gale is still more likely than Adam to trick or treat, to be honest.
I don't know if B is altogether sold with this whole harass strangers for candy thing. I think that seems very it's strange habit. It's basically begging other people for food, which as a proud survivalist, B is not overly supportive of.
Cool. I think that's everything. Links to social media. Oh, yeah. Sorry, go on, John.
So I just noticed we also have resubscribe from Night Bites. Thank you. And we've had a follow from Mendercap and G046.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, yes, no Simba Room this week. Back on next week. Follow our social media below and join our Discord, and give us a follow on YouTube if you want. And there are probably thousands of hours of other things that we've done on there, including the Cyborg one shot that we just did this weekend, which was loads of fun. The first half of that is now up. I hope we do some more of that because that was very, very fun. Yeah, I think that's everything. So hopefully see you next week if you're not trick-or-treating. And if I'm not trick-or-treating, I'm not trick-or-treating. Thanks.
Not outside of the roleplay.
Yeah.
We're just going to be
I'm going to be
bothered by children knocking on the doors.
I'm going to be playing hundreds of people who will be trick-or-treating next week. That's all all my GM brain power is going to be taken up with hundreds of trick-or-treaters. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll catch you next week.